Edme Samuel Castaing, the youngest of three sons of an inspector general in the Department of Woods and Forests, was born in Alençon, France. His educational journey took him to Angers, where he distinguished himself as an exceptional student, garnering numerous awards. After successfully completing his studies at the School of Medicine in Paris, he earned his medical degree in 1821. During this period, he had already fathered 2 children with his mistress, who happened to be the widow of a judge. Financial strain weighed heavily on Castaing, a burden that was further amplified by a debt of 600 francs he had vouched for on behalf of a friend back in 1818. This debt came due in 1820, exacerbating his already challenging financial circumstances. Castaing struck up a friendship with 2 affluent lawyer siblings, Hippolyte and Auguste Ballet. Tragedy struck in October 1822 when Hippolyte succumbed to a sudden illness, bequeathing a substantial sum of 260,000 francs to be shared between his surviving brother Auguste and their sister. Castaing, who had been Hippolyte's physician, alongside another doctor, performed an autopsy attributing his demise to pleurisy worsened by consumption. A significant development arose on September 18, when it was subsequently revealed in court that Castaing had procured 10 grains of acetate of morphia. Merely 2 days later, on October 7, Auguste withdrew 100,000 francs worth of stocks and was later observed handing over this amount to Castaing. Auguste would later assert that this was intended as a bribe to induce the family lawyer, Lebret, to invalidate a will made by Hippolyte that favored their sister. Subsequently, on October 10, Castaing entrusted 66,000 francs to a stockbroker for investment. On the 11th, he dispatched 30,000 francs to his mother, followed by an allocation of 4,000 francs to his mistress on the 14th. The wheels of intrigue continued to turn, culminating in Auguste crafting a will on December 1, 1822, naming Castaing as the sole beneficiary. This will was then placed in the care of Castaing's cousin, who was employed as a notary's clerk, on May 29, 1823. On the same day, Castaing and Auguste embarked on a countryside vacation near Saint-Germain, only to return to Paris the following day in Saint-Cloud, where Auguste's health deteriorated. Curiously, Castaing had acquired 36 grains of morphia on that very day. The sequence of events took a tragic turn on June 1, when Auguste passed away. In swift succession, Castaing was apprehended the next day, and an autopsy was conducted. Although the autopsy attributed Auguste's demise to natural causes, Castaing remained in custody without release. Following his transfer to Paris, Castaing found himself at the center of a 5-month-long investigation. During the initial 3 days, he attempted to feign insanity, but soon abandoned the ruse and was subsequently relocated to Versailles prison. The trial commenced before the Paris Assize Court on November 10, 1823, spanning a duration of 8 days. Castaing faced charges encompassing the murder of Hippolyte Ballet, the deliberate destruction of a testament containing Hippolyte's property dispositions, and the murder of Auguste Ballet. These 3 charges were addressed concurrently, with the indictment against Castaing spanning a dense 100 pages of closely printed text. Castaing's defense was orchestrated by 2 advocates, Roussel, a former schoolmate, and the renowned Pierre-Antoine Barrière. However, Barrière's performance in this trial is not deemed one of his most noteworthy. According to Irving, Barrière provided personal testimony regarding the taste of acetate of morphia, recounting his own experiment involving the chemical. He recounted introducing 1/4 of a grain of acetate into a spoonful of milk, describing the insufferably bitter taste that rendered him unable to retain it in his mouth. Significant weight hinged upon the absence of morphia in the victims' bodies. In his concluding statement, Barrière referenced a quote attributed to one of the kings of France: "When God has not granted conclusive evidence of a crime, it is a sign that he does not intend for men to decide, but rather leaves the judgment to a higher tribunal." Medical experts held varying viewpoints regarding the specific poison employed in the murders. The jury deliberated for 2 hours before reaching a verdict. They acquitted Castaing of the murder of Hippolyte, while finding him culpable for the destruction of his will and, by a narrow margin of 7 votes to 5, guilty of the murder of Auguste. In his final proclamation before being sentenced, Castaing expressed, "I am prepared to face death, despite being a victim of misfortune and fateful circumstances. I anticipate reuniting with my two friends on the other side. The accusation of treacherous murder weighs upon me, but a divine providence watches over us. If an immortal soul exists, I look forward to encountering Hippolyte and Auguste Ballet once more. This declaration is not an empty rhetoric. I seek not the pity of man. Instead, I turn my gaze to the mercy of God and shall march resolutely to the gallows. My conscience remains clear." Following an unsuccessful appeal and an endeavor to take his own life, employing poison concealed within a watch, clandestinely delivered to him in prison by an acquaintance, he met his demise through execution on December 6, 1823.